The president welcomed the Orthodox Church of Russia and promised to support them in preaching the word of God, saying he follows Christ and walks with anyone who is a Christian. He quoted the story of the Good Samaritan in the Bible as the principle of setting up the church in Uganda and said they will be known by their deeds. He urged them to promote education and health alongside their religion for social economic transformation of the people. Metropolitan Leonid of Clean and his team briefed President Museveni about their religion and their development projects on the continent. On December the 29th, 2021, the Holy Synod of the Russian Orthodox Church at its session made the decision to form a Patriarch Exarchate of Africa. Metropolitan Leonid was appointed as Patriarch Exarchate with the title of Clean.
First anti-colonial movement was founded in South Africa, the African National Congress of South Africa. And when the Bolsheviks took over in 1917, they started supporting us. That's what I normally tell our Western people, that the Bolsheviks were supporting us from 1917. And then in 1949, when the communists took over in China, again they supported us. So by the time 1955, when the African countries started getting independence, like Sudan, like Ghana,
President, I want first of all to give you an original letter from His Holiness Patriarch Kirill, a historical letter about the starting of our relations and и пасхальных торжеств. Мы бы хотели преподнести вам этот скромный подарок.
Vice President Jessica Lupo has called upon all Ugandans to embrace and support government efforts in planting trees in order to save the world and Uganda in particular and its next generation from the effects of inhaling toxic gases from the atmosphere, which is a danger to human health, noting that health is wealth. The Vice President was speaking at the launch of a 40 million tree planting campaign to tackle climatic change crisis in the country at Entebbe Botanical Gardens in Entebbe, where she was representing President Lauryn Museveni.
This maiden national event, being hosted by the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, particularly NARO, and the Entebbe Botanical Gardens, is part of the international tree planting campaign, and we are privileged to join the rest of the world in this worthwhile event to protect the planet on which we live. Uganda has experienced a positive annual forest cover since 2015, increasing from 9% to 13% in 2021. Despite that slight shift, our Vision 2040 aspiration is to achieve 24% by 2040. It gives me great joy that the private sector has come on board as partners, joining civil society stakeholders and development partners to support these government initiatives, because the issue of environmental conservation affects all of us. This initiative is in line with the current NRM manifesto, where we have committed to grow 200 million trees over a 5-year period from 2021 to 2026 to increase the country's natural resource base, particularly in form of forests and trees on both private and government land, in addition to our own routine forest establishment. I am glad we are witnessing innovative ideas to realize these targets, and with the economy fully open now, we can surpass this target this year in a strong collaboration with the private sector, religious and cultural institutions, civil society, and the general public. Allow me now to declare the 2022 Roots Tree Growing Year officially launched. I thank you.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has started implementation of the national campaign to address defilement, child marriage, teenage pregnancy and promote positive parenting in Ntungamo district, which she labeled as the Abstinence Campaign. Mrs. Museveni revealed that the national campaign, which was launched in December 2021, will revive and launch the ABC strategy to help not only stem the increasing cases of teenage pregnancy, but also, most importantly, protect the country's girl child from premarital sex relationships that mess up their education cycle and can also give them the deadly HIV/AIDS. The campaign, according to the First Lady, will see girls abstain from premarital sexual activities until they finish school, start with work and enter the marriage relationship to bring up a wholesome family. The First Lady was officiating at the belated International Women's Day celebration for Ntungamo District held at Chamate Senior Secondary School under the theme Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. She said, whereas young girls who have been given birth are allowed to continue with education, it will take them minimum of a full year after maternity to return to school, which can be avoidable if children are given proper parenting they deserve. The Uganda Demographic and Health Survey of 2016 done by Uganda Bureau of Statistics says 1 in 4 adolescent girls aged between 15 and 19 are already mothers or are pregnant with their first child, while 64% girls have sex before the age of 18. Teenage childbearing is high in rural areas. It's at 27% than in urban areas at 19%. Since March 2020, studies have shown an increase in cases of domestic violence, defilement and teenage pregnancy in the country. For instance, a study supported by United Nations Population Fund 2021 found that a total of 354,736 teenage pregnancies were registered in 2020, and a total of 290,219 teenage pregnancies were registered between January and September 2021, implying an average of over 32,000 teenage pregnancies recorded per month. Mrs. Janet Museveni, also the Minister of Education and Sports, said that in a bid to increase access to education for all, and especially the girl child, government, through the World Bank funded Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfers program, is constructing comprehensive seed secondary schools that have all facilities of a school, including classroom blocks, staff houses, fully equipped science laboratories, fully furnished ICT laboratory and library, administration block, a multi-purpose hall, a water tank, and adequate sanitation facilities for both learners and staff. She added that the government plans to renovate many traditional schools across the country to bring them to the required modern standards. Chamate Secondary School, which, like many other schools across the country, is in dire need of rehabilitation, will also be included. She also encouraged families to ensure hygiene and safe sanitation in their homes, adequate food and storage facilities, income-generating activities, and proper living with separate bedrooms and appropriate beddings for parents, children, and visitors.
Haine ebintu ebimbere ninyenda kugambira aha, especially ekigambo kya abaana babeshya omu ihango muno muhurire enduru erikugamba there is an outcry in the land. Abo abaana babeshyi abarikutwara bari abaana abarikuzaara abakurugwa mwenda abaana really abaana bato nkaba mukureba abishomero ekiri kureta ekyo nabwo kuba abazaire abaana bakabarikaho nikirungi kukora sente n'okugezaho kutunga itungo omunsi omu rero obushwere nibuguma buri strong. Mbwenu ninyenda ngu tutandike erizooba ntungamu ABC campaign today. Abo kubana hata abaana nibarwara AIDS hati wakitukugambira noreba tutwakigamba hari HIV and AIDS oshoteeka kira konka tera kizire na hata abantu abana n'abakuru nibakwatwa AIDS konga tukora bururu bonka n'okukora district n'okunywanisa abantu n'okumanya ebigendererwa by'eitunka b'ebembezi n'okureba districts nyingi eziri kukwatanisa nk'oku mukureba ntungamu egi konka twine ab'ebembezi omu district omu abakiri kugezaho munonga kwombeka ihanga, not just the district.
Parliament has passed a revised national budget for the financial year 2022-2023. In our news tonight, we share the various allocations that have been made based on NDP3 program-based model. Take a look.
The national budget for the financial year 2022-23 as approved by Parliament this 20th of May 2022. Human capital development 8,740 billion shillings. Governance and security 7,030 billion shillings. Integrated transport infrastructure and services 4,172 billion shillings. Sustainable energy development 1,607 billion shillings. Agro-industrialization 1,269 billion shillings. Regional balanced development 1,190 billion shillings. Development plan implementation 1,232 billion shillings. Legislation oversight and representation 724.61 billion shillings. Private sector development 1,598 billion shillings. Natural resources, environment, climate change, land and water 617 billion shillings. Sustainable urbanization and housing 344 billion shillings. Innovation, technology, development and transfer 21 billion shillings. Public sector transformation 206 billion shillings. Sustainable development of petroleum resources 864 billion shillings. Administration of justice 394 billion shillings. Tourism development 197 billion shillings. Digital transformation 83 billion. Mineral development 31 billion shillings. Manufacturing 353 billion shillings. Community mobilization and mindset change 73 billion shillings, summing up to a subtotal of 30,746 billion shillings. Others under memo items include domestic financing 8,008 billion shillings, interest payments of 6,028 billion shillings, external debt repayments in form of amortization 2,412 billion shillings, domestic areas 698 billion shillings, appropriation in aid and local revenue 238.52 billion shillings. And all these sum up the grand total of the national budget for the financial year 2022-23 to a tune of 48,130 billion shillings. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News.
Security forces conducting disarmament exercise in Karamoja region have been asked to respect human rights as they carry on their disarmament exercise. During 3 days of human rights training for soldiers in Kotido District, Deputy Representative United Nations Human Rights Grace Pelly echoed the need to observe human rights in the country.
The Joint Security Forces in Karamoja sub-region this week intensified their intelligence by cordoning and searching areas across the 9 districts of Karamoja. Joint Security Forces of Uganda Police and Uganda People's Defence Forces were deployed to intensify the disarmament process in Karamoja sub-region. However, since their deployment, there have been several complaints of human rights abuse by area locals and leaders. Some leaders have blamed soldiers for using a lot of force while conducting the disarmament process, which has since not spared even the innocent ones. Mora District.
The soldiers are annoyed because they have been up and down, moving, following Futuma, and you know, some of them, they have lost their life because of this insecurity. So I think now they are feeling it. So that's why now when they are coming for this Gordon and such, recently, like yesterday, there is one boy who was shot. I think the boy was captured and he tried to run away. He was shot in the head, died. And even the following, like 2 days ago, the Gordon and such was operated in Lopur. A certain imam also was shot also in the eye. That one is
LC5 chairperson David Koryang and other leaders have accused human rights observers for being silent when innocent people are suffering.
Of course, now when they try like to, you know, to interrogate somebody. For us here in Karamoja, minus a stake, minus caning somebody. Now somebody cannot tell you where the gun is. But now when somebody is caning or pain slowly, human rights.
Human rights will come to observe. Observing disarmament when people are dying. I think to me, I am one person with the biggest question to ask human rights. The time these thieves are killing and stealing people's property, where's the human right? But when a solution is thought to help an answer to quit off what is causing a problem, then you come in. Then the promoter of insecurity, according to me, it can be the human right.
The UN Human Rights and Uganda Human Rights Commission have on this note moved to train 40 UPDF soldiers from 450th Brigade on characteristics and principles of human rights during disarmament operations. The deputy representative at UN Human Rights Office, Grace Pelly, cautioned security forces against abuse of human rights while carrying out their operations.
Share it with your colleagues, your teams, and you'll do your part in closing the gap between the theory of human rights and its practical application in Karamoja and beyond.
The 3rd Division Commander, Brigadier General Joseph Balikudembe, says it's only court to judge the acts of wrongdoers.
And whoever commits an offense or violates human rights must be, not should be, but must be arrested and answer the charges of violation of human rights. We are aware that in Karamoja, there are some groups that have taken it amongst themselves that they are untouchables, they are hardcore criminals, but still they need also their rights. And they will get their rights through the courts of law.
Balikudembe adds that they are going to ensure proper observance of human rights while carrying out operations and called for continuous training of soldiers.
You can simply flash a message that as they see these graduates of human rights reach wherever detached they are, that they just give them space, give them fora to keep talking to soldiers. We shall not have issues.
And as a professional army, we need to take it very carefully and we make sure that we handle the situation and we put it to the level we want it to be.
The 3-day training was attended by commanders at Plateau, battalion and brigade levels and political commissars, among others. I'm Nafka Farida and Emyooga.
National Unity Platform Party leadership has urged the Electoral Commission to conduct its work professionally. This follows the summoning of the NUP party candidate by the Electoral Commission to its headquarters to answer questions after someone filed a petition that Tolit Simon Akecha's signature for nomination for Omoro by elections were not from genuine people.
National Unity Platform Party declares that it has 85% of the votes in Omoro by-elections 4 days to the end of the campaigns.
Omoro is very fertile for NUP.
Yes.
We are expecting 85% vote in favor of our candidate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Minimum.
That is the minimum. That is our minimum expectation. And that's why these people are resorting to very many avenues to get a way of interfering with our campaign.
As campaigns gained momentum in Omoro, the Electoral Commission summoned the National Unity Platform candidate to its headquarters in Kampala to answer some questions.
To access Omoro County has got to show their national ID, has got to explain why they are getting into Omoro County. When did we get to this point? So here we are again, because of the fear. We are saying we are not going to be intimidated. Our president is going to go to Omoro to campaign for our candidate.
The NUP candidate in Omoro by-election, Tolit Simon, says that a number of strategies are being laid to have him deregistered from the race, including a petition to the EC questioning his nomination signatures.
It did not even write to the Electoral Commission requesting for inspection. It did not even attach any document which he found which was forged, and the genuine one which he claimed to be the signature of the 10 people. So it's now up on the Electoral Commission to make the decision. We have given our witnesses.
And before long, they were at EC saying, we never signed for you. When they actually, all the 10 signed in the presence of these ones who are here today.
We contacted the Electoral Commission spokesperson, Paul Bukenya, who said the Commission has found that Simon Tolit complied with the requirements for nomination and has accordingly upheld the decision of the returning officer to nominate him. He remains candidate in the by-election. Meanwhile, NUP has also asked EC to avail the voters' register for Omoro early enough for easy follow-up.
Voters register, you can imagine, 4 days at the end of campaigns, we don't have a voters register for Omoro. Right now, I've had to write again to the Electoral Commission to say, give us this register so that we know where the people are, because you saw what they did in Kayunga. Some people are going to polling stations only to find that their names had already been removed.
The campaigns are to be held over a period of 9 days, after which people of Omoro will, on 26th of May this year, cast their vote for a Member of Parliament to replace the late Jacob Olanya. I'm Nafka Farida and Joel Vobia in Karamoja.
Episcopal Ecumenical Orthodox Christian leaders under the umbrella body Christian Ecumenical Council of Uganda want government to regulate prices of essential and basic commodities that shot high a couple of months ago. This is at a press briefing as they unveiled their program ahead of Martyrs' Day celebration on the 3rd of June this year.
Pilgrims all over the country are in preparation to commemorate martyrdom of Catholic and Anglican Ugandan martyrs who were killed for their faith. Many have already started trekking from different parts of the country to Namugongo Martyrs shrines for the 3rd June prayers. Christian ecumenical leaders under their joint organization, Christian Ecumenical Council of Uganda, have also disclosed the day's program at a ceremony to be presided over by the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja and the World Head of Ecumenical Orthodox, Archbishop Charles Jones. The head Charismatic Episcopal Church of Uganda, also Deputy Chairperson Christian Ecumenical Council of Uganda, Bishop Hannington Bahemuka, recalled the 2 years COVID-19 pandemic that affected these celebrations.
Preparing for the Martyrs' Day celebration. Martyrs matter to us because of the faith, the common faith that we share. They were Christians and we are Christians. It's also a Thanksgiving day for us because of God having brought us out of COVID.
The clergy appealed to government to come up with a working plan to regulate the prices of essential commodities that continue to skyrocket.
What are we faced with in the country at the moment, even in the world? Those are high prices of commodity.
As religious leaders, we are eagerly waiting to see how he will address the rising prices of commodities in Uganda. So we understand the influence of the fuel is due to the war in Europe. Wouldn't suppose there would be a rise in these prices of the commodities that are produced in Uganda, or else the government should do something.
Their request comes at a time President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is expected to address the nation about the same subject this Sunday.
That he has agreed that there must be revision of the agreement that was done. Does it mean if they produce their coffee and doesn't benefit them? So we suppose that we maintain the standard, the value addition, but this agreement that has issues should be done away with.
The Christian Episcopal Ecumenical Prayers will take place at Mamre International Prayer Center, Janda, Namugongo, led by Bishop Jacinto Chibuka. Ivan Juko, Aisha Nakazi, UBC News.
All right, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return after these messages.
You passed the ice through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo.
Show them waka with MTN Momo Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves. High-flying saves. Unbelievable goals. Out-of-this-world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break. And now in more news, the Bishop of Lira Diocese, Sanctus Lino Wanok, has called upon all Christians, irrespective of their faith, to seek for a special blessing from the Papal Nuncio of Uganda. Wanok, who was receiving the Pope's representative in Lira Diocese, said they invited the Archbishop for a special blessing after coming from a difficult time of COVID-19 and its containment measures that left most Christians very demoralized. His Excellency Luigi Bianco is in Lira Diocese for a 4-day apostolic visit, blessing Christians in all the 10 districts of Lango sub-county, sub-region.
In a long convoy, Christians of Lira Catholic Diocese drove over 70 kilometers to receive the Papal Nuncio, who is on his apostolic visit in the diocese. This is the first visit the Pope's representative is making in Lira Diocese since his appointment in 2019. Before the overjoyed Christians marched with this convoy up to the Bishop's residence, he planted trees in memory of his visit. Traffic on Obote Avenue was halted for about 10 minutes as they made their way. The Papal Nuncio was received by the Bishop of Lira Diocese, Sanctus Lino Wanok.
We have received him with a lot of joy, with a lot of happiness and relation. This is because after a long time that we have suffered the COVID pandemic and many other diseases that has ravaged many people, and many people even lost life. So the people of Lira sub-region wanted a special blessing, and with the theme that peace be with you.
Appointed in 2019 as the new Apostolic nuncio to Uganda, replacing Archbishop Michael Blume, Luigi Bianco was invited to impart a special blessing to the diocese.
If not by the Pope, at least his representative who is living in Uganda. And indeed, that's why we invited His Excellency Nuncio to come and be with us for 4 days.
The Bishop of Lira Diocese, Sanctus Lino Wanok, said the special blessing by the envoy of God is a must not only for the Catholics, but for all believers of Christ.
And we know how many people are suffering now, and many people are lacking food, and many people are lacking job, and many youth are disorganized. And in all of this, we need nothing else but prayer.
Archbishop Luigi Bianco will be blessing Christians from all the 10 districts of Lamu that make up Lira Diocese before returning to Kampala on Sunday. Eddie Ulwa, UBC News.
Construction of a maternity ward and theatre at Oba Health Centre 3 in Lira City, which had stalled for close to a year, has resumed. This was after the City Woman Member of Parliament, also the Minister of Health, Dr. Ruth Chen, mounted pressure on city authorities a few weeks ago. Now, during her political monitoring, Acheng was shocked to realize that the construction, which money was already sent by the ministry, had not commenced.
How they fight in we are really sorry. Yeah, really, it is really. One full year, money is sent to you in July. It stays up to June. You send it back. 20 years to be exact. Yeah. And check accounts do shoot. You have not even committed the money. Yet you have a contractor. You have the money. So what is the problem? Then people will start saying, "Yeah, I sent the money." Money has been lying here for.
During our political monitoring in the constituency of Lira City, Health Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng discovered that construction of a maternity ward and a theatre at Ober Health Centre had not taken off. This angered the minister, who vigorously descended on the city authorities for sleeping on their jobs.
We made a commitment to the people. Government has not let us down. We are the ones letting ourselves down. Why? RCC, why?
Weeks later, the site has again been handed over to BP Enterprises to begin the 349 million shilling civil works.
To execute the works. Thank you.
Although they were blamed for infighting and sleeping on their jobs, the city authorities explained that the delay was caused by the change in the design which was being done by the Ministry of Health.
Yeah, so, but immediately we got it, we came and identified the next set of tasks that we need to employ here in order to accommodate the budget that was provided. So that is what we did. We completed on Monday, and that's why we are handing in today.
We have the capacity, technical capacity, to do a good work within a short time.
Ober Centre 3, which delivers about 100 mothers a month, is grappling with several challenges.
At the center of the city, that means it attracts a majority of people within the city, outside the city, and even beyond.
Hillary says the addition of this structure will reduce on referrals the facility makes almost on a daily basis.
Actually, the overall goal is that we don't want to see any mother die of related pregnancy that can be helped.
However, Mayor Samatul warned the contractor against shoddy works.
Design is now here with us. The bills of quantity is here with us. We shall be building a two-floor storage structure that will be having the maternity ward and then the theatre, which is a big investment in terms of service delivery in the Department of Health within Lira City.
Eddie Ulwa, UBC News.
The Indian Association of Uganda has pledged to offer free heart surgery to 100 children as they mark 100 years of existence in Uganda. Speaking at the send-off of the second batch of surgeons, the Indian High Commissioner to Uganda, Sri Ajay Kumar, pledged to promote such life-saving initiatives so that people can have a chance at life.
14-year-old Taufik Al-Haj is one of the children ready to undergo heart surgery in India. Taufik says they realized his heart defect when he was in primary 6.
Yeah, I was getting tiresome. Every day my heart beating at a higher speed. Bad breathing saturation. When I can breathe badly, breathe like a pussycat is in my chest.
Taufik is not alone. Juliet Kembabazi, a mother to Menya Isaac, also with a heart defect, says she tried seeking help from Lago Hospital, but failed due to huge sums of money required for surgery.
The Heart Institute informed me that they were unable because Murago Hospital's ICU, particularly I think for the Heart Institute, had not been worked on. So to me it was impossible to raise 100 million or 70 million at that very moment, and that is why I opted into seeking for help.
These and many others now have a chance at life as they are to benefit from the Indian Association in Uganda as it commemorates 100 years of existence in the country.
We are here to see off these children and their parents are going to India for heart surgery, sponsored by Rotary International and Indian Association.
Now no stopping. You just now told that we have stopped the registration. I would request you, please don't stop the registration. Don't stop the registration. Let it come. Let it go.
The Director General Health Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Henry Mwebesa, is delighted by the continued support from the Indian government.
Most of our children who go to India, young children like this, go because of congenital heart diseases, and India has been our destination for these conditions. Most of the congenital diseases, we take them to India. So for that, we really want to thank the Indian government.
The Governor, Rotary District 9213, John Magezi, says there will be exchange of doctors from both countries, which will help in improving skills.
We hope that in the next few months, we shall have a training team from India visit Uganda and work with our Ugandan doctors here at the Ugandan Heart Institute to do some of the operations.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Soroti Regional Referral Hospital suspended the radiological services over 10 years ago following malfunctioning of its X-ray machine. The condition left the administrators with no choice but to refer patients with complications to private clinics in Mbale for related services. However, the patients say this has turned out to be expensive and time-wasting.
Soroti Regional Referral Hospital, which started in 1944 as a dispensary for syphilis treatment, is serving a population of 2.7 million people from 12 districts of Eastern Region. Unfortunately, the hospital spent more than 10 years operating without radiological services due to breakdown of its X-ray machine.
Our Minister Hospital has been for a very long time without an X-ray machine. Many of our people here have been suffering 40,000, 50,000, 25,000, 30,000 to go to private facilities for these X-ray services.
The situation prompted the hospital top management to seek for financial help from the Ministry of Teso Affairs.
The then director of the hospital to write the office of the Prime Minister. Copied to the office of TS, the Ministry of Health, to request for this to be approved. And would like to thank the government and the office of the Prime Minister for its flexibility.
The ministry set aside 600 million shillings for the procurement of the X-ray machine that will go a long way in addressing the gaps in the hospital.
I am glad that we are acquiring this X-ray machine,
And I want you, the people, once it is in place, when you go for X-ray, look at the machine and ask yourself, is it worth 600 million? That is how the public helps us to fight corruption and to monitor. You don't expect the government to be sending people here on a daily basis to see what is going on.
With the coming of the new X-ray, the management has also appealed for the remodeling of the old structure that is housing the X-ray machine.
Because when you buy this X-ray machine, ideally it cannot enter there. You know, sometimes even at home, if you bring a new wife, you should send it to a decent house.
During the handover of the dummy check, area members of parliament, together with the local leaders, warned the hospital management against misusing the new X-ray machine.
I know we can get machines in Kampala at 400 million, we can get at 200 million, but we are going to monitor. Director, if we find that you have bought equipment that is under 600 million, today we are friends, but director, when we come that way, we will hand you over to the committee, we will hand you over to the police.
The Ministry of Testal Affairs also handed over a dummy check worth 300 million shillings for construction of 2 classroom blocks and a 5-stent pit latrine at Aloyet Primary School. Dorcas Kimono and Joseph Okowu, UBC News.
Uganda Road Accident Reduction Network Organization, in partnership with Directorate of Traffic Police, have launched a joint road safety sensitization campaign targeting schools, boda and taxi operators, among others. The move follows raising cases of road accidents where various people have lost their lives in the recent past.
Come to our body.
Having established that over 80% of the road accidents on Ugandan roads are a result of human error, Uganda Road Accident Reduction Network Organization, in partnership with Traffic Police, have launched a road safety campaign starting with schools. During the inaugural sensitization at Kitante KCCA Primary School, Traffic Police officials and those from the Road Accident Network gave some road awareness tips to the pupils. The Uganda Road Accident Reduction Network Organization Chief Executive, Fred Tumwina Lukundo, said the launch was part of the activities to mark 25 years of the organization's existence.
Today has marked also a good version because we brought a poster which we call Road Safety Corner. This is a poster which children go to visit to and get some knowledge about road signs.
Kitante School Head teacher Jen Chakwa welcomed the move and urged other schools to embrace it for the safety of pupils.
And as a school, we also embraced it years back. And this has really helped our children while they're on the road, because they take us through so many road safety signs and what the children are expected of while they are going back home.
Prior to the launch, there was a demonstration on hand washing and body hygiene by Kampala hospital staff, a skit portraying the presidential initiative on HIV/AIDS in schools, and a science practical demonstration by the pupils, among others. Edward Koinjuko for UBC News in Kampala.
All right, we're going to take a short break and then we return with some business stories.
Have waka, you bust the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
What the book packages, great entertainment,
Sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies.
There is something for everybody.
Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break. And now into business. Housing Finance Bank and Uganda Cooperative Alliance have signed a memorandum of understanding to tackle rampant preventable challenges cooperatives face. The move is part of their commitment to provide affordable homes and financial independency for all Ugandans.
The world is facing numerous challenges, among which are skyrocketing inflation.
People's standards of living, Housing Finance Bank has partnered with Uganda Cooperative Alliance to extend affordable financial solutions to the valuable 31,000 cooperatives.
You, the member of the cooperative, we will work with you the journey to incrementally meet your need of owning your dream home. So irrespective of your meager incomes, we just say, let's see, what is it that you can afford? We have a solution for you. And as an indigenous bank, I am proud and happy to say we understand our environment.
According to Michael Mugabe, Housing Finance Bank will establish a scheme to offer loans to eligible cooperatives for housing and agricultural inputs.
Interest rates of as low as 12%. There's agricultural credit facility financing initiative of government through Bank of Uganda. We will work with that. So if those Ugandans that are into the agriculture sector approach us, we happy. Then for the circles that are into this agriculture sector, we have solutions for you as well.
The partnership does not only seek to deepen financial inclusion by leveraging Uganda Cooperative Alliance structures, but also to deliver financial literacy to circles and their members.
Our role as UCA, mobilize, sensitize them, identify them, and then bring them to the bank. And the bank is able to tailor the products to the needs of those circles and other forms of cooperatives. Now, here is another pillar, the third pillar, which is CIC, insurance, now to mitigate the risks. Do you see that the whole chain is covered?
The joint move by the two organizations is championing Sustainable Development Goal 11 and 1 agenda to ensure all Ugandans have access to adequate, safe and affordable housing, basic services and upgrade slums by 2030. Joshua Kagoro, UBC News.
This is Donor countries are rethinking their investment strategy for capital-intensive projects such as infrastructure development. According to Frank, the CEO trademark East Africa, most global economies are distressed and thus unable to commit significant public resources for external projects. He says most donor countries are back on the drawing board to strategize on project financing.
The world is facing numerous challenges, among which are skyrocketing inflation, rising interest rates, and distressed economies that are hampering donor countries' ability to invest government resources to bridge the infrastructure gap.
We've got more than 200 borders that lay underdeveloped. We're lucky that the 7 we've done here in Uganda are working well. But think, if I was to challenge you to move goods from here by land to Accra, it's a pretty tough thing to do. So we see that practical application of capital where there's just not enough donor finance to do it. We can raise resources within the continent for the continent. So TCA will play an important role in preparing those projects and bringing them to the market for DFI investment.
Reacting to the media concerns on the future of Trademark East Africa's infrastructure development financing, Frank Matsat, the outgoing chief executive officer, said the organization may adopt concessional financing, which he believes can unlock the potential of commercial capital.
What we're looking at is basically concessional finance, okay? So we're not talking about really hardcore commercial finance, the kind of interest rates that some banks charge. We'll be looking at foreign-based loans, okay, in hard currency. With the initial pilot programs, we're talking about a 10% coupon broadly.
This was at the Trademark East Africa National Oversight Committee, NOC, for Uganda, which was attended by government officials and donors involved in the Temea trade facilitation activities.
I think for us that has been a big plus with the relationship we have enjoyed with Trademark, and we shall continue enjoying with Trademark. And for that we want to thank the CEO for that approach. We have enjoyed it, we define what we want, they fund, and then we go ahead and implement.
The National Oversight Committee gave a detailed status on all outgoing projects, indicating that Gulu Logistics Hub Phase 1 has been completed, Doroko Lake Port construction progress at 93%, and Goli Mahiga one-stop border post at 56%. Dennis Igoa and Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
Now, faced with the sharp increase of prices of everyday products, Ugandans are struggling to make ends meet. Authorities are blaming the situation on the long-term effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the raging war in Ukraine that has further disrupted supply of oil and cereals such as wheat and corn. The two countries are major producers and exporters of these commodities. The affected commodities include cooking oil, soap, fuel, and education services.
Do not expect every business to be back on its feet. If you look at certain sectors, for instance, tourism, they are very much still in the heat of the storm, in the eye of the storm rather. So there is need to keep supporting these businesses and coming up with affirmative measures to support their recovery. Additionally, there have been additional shocks now that we've experienced due to high commodity prices and inflation that are further complicating the recovery of businesses. Finally, what has been the uptake of the measures that I mentioned? The uptake has been low for various measures. One, awareness. The entities that have been asked to manage these resources have not invested resources in creating sufficient awareness.
Obudde buno twakomawo ntogina soka kutambula bulungi wakisokera ddala kimu kya bbeeyi kimu kyeyongera okuba ekyebbeeyi ate n'abantu abaliguze bagula bakaaba ssente balina ntono ebintu bwe bityo sofa embeera tenabakubaye bulungi ya mulembe nga before yali nga covid tanabakujja emiwendo gy'amafuta giri waggulu kale ndowooza nze ndaba okutugula kyekimu linga era abatatugula batubakabira amafuta
abakasitoma bano abantu baavu tebalina ssente kugamba embeera gye tuyitamu si ya mulembe yeeyitiridde ate esuseeko naye mabega wali eri before nga covid tanajja.
Kyanga batugula ebyobusuubuzi byapaaluuka. Tukubye omulanga munene nnyo eri gavumenti. Buli kintu kyonna kyonna buli lwekirinnye ebbeeyi. Buli kintu lwekirinnye ebbeeyi kiba kinyigirizibwa muntu wa wansi.
Bantu baavu natuli wano enjala etuluma.
N'omutawaana nti ebintu bino gye bivaayo kati ku ssente empitirivu nnyo. Kye tusaba bakama baffe abaawaggulu okutuula ne bannaffe ab'amafakitole okulaba nti nabo babasalira ku misolo ate nabo basobole okutuguza ku bintu ku bbeeyi esoboka, tusobole naffe okubituusa ku bantu baffe mu bbeeyi ensaamusaamu.
Ate naffe ebintu bye tutunda biri waggulu, kati kitegeeza nti ikonome mu butuufu twetaaga okusasulwa kw'amaanyi nnyo ng'abasuubuzi.
Communities living in Nansana Municipality, Wakiso District have commended government's Emyooga program, saying it has benefited them socially and economically. These communities under Nansana Division Emyooga Sako say the program has helped them learn and embrace the saving culture, which has gone a long way in alleviating poverty.
Communities in Nansana Municipality, Wakiso District, under Nansana Division Emyooga Sako have condemned some politicians for sabotaging government program of Emyooga, which they say is vital in poverty eradication.
Grassroots. Therefore, I say, Mr. President, a lot is needed. The only challenge that we have, you told us to go and tell the people that here is the money, and you gave us the money. But we believe that in this financial year, as members are planning not to add more, please, it is our appeal, people on ground, we are letting you know and be aware that we need more funds.
The government put in money for the youth. So the youth, wherever you are, this project is real. The money is there. So it's up to you if you really want to develop. I encourage all of you youth to come up and meet these offices, mostly one around Nansana.
Jemba Livingston Tony is the coordinator of Nansana Division Emyooga Sako. He cautions politicians against misleading the general public and politicizing government developmental programs.
So, tosobola ate kuwa project egenda okujja mu bantu ebayamba okuva mu bwavu basigale nga bakuwase ne tusasula mu parliament ate n'ovumirira project. So bannabyabufuzi abavumirira project nga zino tetugenda kubakkiriza kubanga tukooye okubanga project za gavumenti zijja mu bantu ate ne bazivumirira nga te gavumenti eziteekamu ssente nnyingi.
Some of the market vendors, border cyclists and taxi drivers commend the Emyooga program for having emancipated them financially. The Emyooga program is among government's initiatives including NADS, Operation Wealth Creation, Bonabagagawale, and the recently introduced parish development model that are aimed at fighting poverty.
Local manufacturers have urged government to give them preferential treatment to supply all products made within the country. The call was made by the Director Cable Corporation Limited, Hemnak Katau, during a visit to the factory by the Minister of State for Trade, Harriet Ntabazi.
Minister of State for Trade, Harriet Ntabazi, had a site visit at Cable Corporation Limited, which was recently awarded for best quality cables made within the country. During her visit, the minister learned that the corporation is only allowed to supply 30% of their finished products, which the manufacturers say is counterproductive.
Rhea says, you have to buy locally. So they said, yes, I have given a purchase order to Cable Corporation, but nobody checks whether that purchase order is the full requirement or it was only 10% of the requirement.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and that's how they get around it, because everything is VAT and duty free.
Order, go and buy from locally manufactured, and that's where the powers end. They don't make a follow-up.
The corporation says it is facing challenges with transportation of copper from India. To solve this problem, Minister Ntabazi called upon eligible investors to extract copper from Kilembe mines in Kasese district.
Now, we are encouraging investors who are credible enough with the specialized knowledge in mining to come and assist us and handle our copper in Kilembe and wherever it is, so that because now we have the market.
The minister also pledged government support to local investors in order to enable them boost their production.
So we need as government for sure to give a lot of support, and we are ready to give support to make sure that you stabilize so that the young ones learn from you, more especially in terms of quality production and consistency of production.
Later, Minister Ntabazi visited Kampala Salt Manufacturing Company, where he encouraged the manufacturers to maintain quality production, which will keep them in business.
State Minister for Cooperatives Frederick Ngobi Guma has encouraged cooperators to emphasize togetherness, transparency, trustworthiness and prioritize value addition crops. This was during the closure of a 4-day seminar for leaders of cooperative societies across the country held in Namugongo, Wakiso district.
Government is committed to revive the cooperative movement in the country to perform even better than it was in the 1960s. During the closing of a 4-day seminar for leaders of cooperative societies across the country, State Minister for Cooperatives Frederick Ngobi Guma encouraged cooperators and the general public at large to support government programs that are aimed at reviving the cooperative union in the country. However, the minister in the seminar was disappointed with the Microfinance Support Center for diverting some of their duties of lending money to the cooperators to revive cooperatives at low interest rate.
Together, this is the mission we want. They give them information, they educate them on finance management, good governance, and many other things. So these leaders are supposed to go down and also disseminate the same information to the ground. That is how we should manage the cooperatives, and they are also cooperators. They are partners in our mission.
On the issue of the cooperative bank that was closed in 1989, the minister reiterated government's commitment through the line ministry to revive the bank, adding that a team of experts in the operating cooperative banks are already in Kenya undergoing training. During the seminar, cooperators commended government for efforts to revive the cooperative bank. They also called on government to also intervene in the issue of microfinance support center lending money to money lenders instead of the cooperators.
Emyooga simanyi entandikwazi kyonna zaningidewa mu Cooperative Bank fena ne tugenda nuzayo kudetwewola ku interest rate tono nnyo naye sente kati evama Ministry of Finance negenda mu district negenda wa sub-county chief negenda wa kasiri nezibula.
Doing this since 2014, and the impact we've had is we've reached out to over 1,300 cooperatives around Uganda. Particularly at the Uhuru Institute, we have what we call the COP 360 network, where we identify and work with cooperatives that are ready to move to the next level. So the cooperatives that have come here today are part of the COP 360 network. Through the 4 days of the training, we have had very engaging sessions.
Sandra Kahonde, Vincent Wamundu, UBC News.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
And now into the world of sports. State Minister for Sports Hamson Obua has launched Uganda's Commonwealth Games trail and promised results to improve Uganda's tally at the Games. The 2022 Commonwealth Games start 28th of July in Birmingham.
Great results at the Commonwealth Games, with past outings yielding 53 medals overall, 16 of which are golden. Such a history is what State Minister for Sports Hamson Obua has promised to repeat when the 2022 Games get underway on 28th July in Birmingham.
The fact that already 8 athletes have qualified under Team Uganda, that demonstrates the fact that they have gone through the first stage of qualification that involves movement within and without Uganda. And in there you have the hands of government. We have had engagement. The fact that we have also launched our road to Birmingham 2022 today with 68 days, those are 2 months and 8 days left. We are very much optimistic that more athletes will qualify, and Uganda will end up with the highest and biggest number of athletes who have qualified ever since we participated in the Commonwealth Games in the 1950s.
Minister Obua was at the launch of Uganda's Commonwealth Games team at Kampala Sheraton Hotel. The minister advised members of Uganda's sports family to embrace the private sector and corporate world, without which funding can't reach respectable standards.
We are facilitated by government. Government remains committed. At a strategic level, the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports is chairing those strategic meetings to ensure that Team Uganda is prepared and Team Uganda is presented. So for now, despite challenges here and there, which is being faced almost by all countries, we are confident that Uganda will be represented, Uganda will participate, Uganda will compete.
Commonwealth Games Association Uganda President Dr. Donald Rokare also graced the occasion. At the last outing in 2018, Uganda returned with 6 medals, and a promise to achieve better has been committed by star athletes Halima Nakai and Husna Kokundakwe.
I would just love to participate in the Commonwealth Games, and hopefully in the future more events are introduced for my class.
Okay, Uganda is expected to have a more than 100 sports personality strong team with netball, rugby, athletics, badminton, table tennis and weightlifting already qualified. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Well, thank you so much for your company this evening. UBC News Tonight has come to a close. Well, do enjoy more of UBC's programming. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Have a good night.
Ide twemala kwenda ekiwumalo okusanyuka ebyokulya nebyokulwa bya bwerere tunwe tuliye tweyibule musoka yonayona muweeyo mubomoke mukulukuta tumandiga mutweigo tusandukire walala n'omwagalwa w'abangi General Muhoozi Kaini Rugaba enaffe omwezi nga bino bwera tujja kuba kakindu mu kibuga eky'Idinda ab'emigongo busoka boona bakomediani bangi okuva Kampala n'abeidinda bajja kuba endongo ekatiru stadium kokana muntu maikrofoni ku muntu mukono ku ndongo ide obona ebijibu ky'empaka nga ddenda lya mu ipanga ab'e Kampala n'abawano emizano gijja kwavula mu kisaawe gawerolera ebyuma ebyabalamu ebikyalo ebyakooti bunda bwa Afulika. Tiimu kyeyamaani MK isawa fulani ikisaba.
Say he that keepeth his mouth, you know, they shall belong. I never ask you, not know what you tell me. I beg you daily to cease and
It's
still
the
you
freak
keep
himself, DJ Sanchez, the problem.
Me granny tell me from your little baby, he that keep at his mouth shall stay out of problem. It seems like he was carrying jail, so I ain't carrying on. Same out that chatter with me, will chatter of me, murder rap me.
It's the freak himself, DJ Sanchez. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at DJ Sanchez 256.
See a kaya mountain. You are go weak. See a kaya TPH and make a ball. See a kaya mount. Every thief is a liar. Every liar is a thief. Yes. Remember you tell me Teflon hate me. Then you tell Teflon can excite him like a dose of poison.